one of the favourite places for me in New Zealand, and it's been great to be able to spend some time with rural folk just talking about that they've got a government that's backing them. We want them to grow, we want them to be successful, and appreciate you being here and happy to take any questions you've got. Oh, we're done. Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much.
The Waitangi Tribunal report into the disestablishment of the Māori Health Authority. What do you say to them saying that it was disestablished without an alternative plan?
Oh, I disagree completely. We campaigned on disestablishing the Māori Health Authority. We don't think building massive bureaucracy is the way in which we improve outcomes for Māori. The way that we believe we go about it is partnering with local iwi on the ground, like we have been doing, for example, with immunisation rates for under 2-year-olds, and so that's a much better way to go. But what we saw there was a massive amount of bureaucracy, and that's why we campaigned upon it, and that's why we just established it.
Would you say you do have a firm plan now? Is it you've got a firm?
Oh, we have. I mean, within a matter of weeks of taking over government, we've put $50 million in, partnered with local iwi who have good health organisations that can get out and actually do the work immunising under 2s. Māori under 2-year-olds were some of our lowest levels of immunisation rates, and it's been a fantastic success already. So 3 times more than what we had anticipated. So that's the way that we want to work going forward, partnering with iwi so that we can deliver better outcomes for Māori. But building centralised bureaucracies isn't the way, and that's why we disestablished it.
So why does the Waitangi Tribunal think that you didn't have a plan when you disestablished it?
Oh, well, our plan's very clear. We've campaigned on that. We've talked about it a lot. It's my conversations I have with individual iwi leaders up and down this country and groups of iwi leaders is about we want to partner working together with them at a local level on actually issues like housing, on health, on education, where we see that Māori outcomes went backwards under a Labour government with a much vaunted Māori caucus and didn't deliver for Māori people at all.
Prime Minister, the Tribunal also says that the government didn't consult with Māori and therefore breached the treaty. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as I said, I disagree. We campaigned very strongly on it. We had an election in New Zealand, and as a result we formed a government and we disestablished the Māori Health Authority. We do not believe that approach was the right way forward. It had been available for 15 months, I think, from memory, pretty unsuccessful, not delivering outcomes, not a well-developed organisation, and frankly just massive amounts of bureaucracy. The better way to deal with it is to partner with local iwi health organisations on the ground on the challenges that we have to improve outcomes for Māori. And as we all know, we've got a lot of work to do in that space.
So therefore you would argue that Māori did have a say or are having a say in the healthcare system?
We had an election, we had a clear policy. It's something that we opposed from its introduction, we opposed in the campaign, and we moved very quickly to disestablish it. I'm pleased that we did. We don't think that's the way forward. The way forward is to empower local organisations to partner with them to deliver better outcomes.
The Tribunal is suggesting that you should revisit the concept of a separate Māori health.
Not happening. Not happening. It doesn't work. We're not building separate systems for the delivery of nationalised public services. We're going to partner with local people on the ground to get results and outcomes.
So you're confident that the steps you've got in motion, they will address Māori health inequities?
Well, we've got to do something different because it didn't work under the last administration and it didn't work as a Māori Health Authority to deliver improved outcomes for Māori. The better way is to partner with local iwi on the ground, as we have done on childhood immunisation rates. We put $50 million in to partner with iwi health organisations. I think the last time I checked, we'd done 33,000 under 2-year-olds who now are fully immunised, which gives them the best protection. The iwi health organisations can do a much better job in partnership with the government in delivering that. That's the way forward, not building centralised bureaucracy in Wellington in 2 separate systems.
Luxon, you and Nicola have just spoken to farmers about improving the RMA for them, improving freshwater policy. When can we get some certainty around when the RMA will be finalised so farmers can move on and prepare for the next few years?
Well, look, as you said, it's a 3-stage process. The first has been to knock off, as we did before Christmas last year, the previous Labour government's RMA reforms. We killed that and stopped that. Phase 2 has been to introduce the fast-track legislation, which we are very close to passing in Parliament very, very shortly, by the end of this year. And as you know, there's 149 projects that we have set up with national and regional significance, 49 of them here in the South Island, to actually make sure we get things built and done in this country. We want to continue along that pathway, and by the middle of next year we'll have our long-term solution, which will be the new RMA reforms. But the RMA is holding New Zealand back. It is taking too long to build things in this country. We can be much better than this, whether it's housing, whether it's farming, whether it's roading. Our infrastructure is taking too long to get in place, and so we have to do something different because we're not going to be a country of bureaucrats and obstruction.
Speaking of roading, when is the bridge getting built? Everyone in Auckland wants to know.
Well, I tell you, it's officially on the program, which is really great. And Simeon Brown, we are deeply committed to the bridge, so it's going to happen. So don't worry, Ashburton Bridge is on its way, and the timing will be worked through very quickly with Simeon, but it's on the plan and on the schedule.
The Royal Commission report on the COVID response, have you had a chance to look through the report?
We only received it at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock yesterday, and we released it immediately. I haven't had a chance to read it. As you know, it's phase one. There's a second phase where we want to broaden out the COVID inquiry to think about the impacts that it had on the economy and other aspects of it as well. So, we want to make sure this is the interim report of phase one. Obviously, get it up, get it out. But importantly, we've also kicked off phase two so that we can do a broader investigation. And the point is to understand what we did well and what we didn't do so well, so that we actually get those learnings in place should we ever have to foresee another event like that.
But have you had a chance to at least look at the executive sort of summary? Is there any
I've been on the road and up and down this country in the last 24 hours, so I haven't had a chance to do that, but I will at some point. Yeah.
Prime Minister, why is the government moving to stop employees on over 180,000 from being able to take unjustified dismissals?
Well, look, what we've done is we've set a target, which is the highest tax rate in New Zealand, 180,000 plus. That's about 3.5% of employees in this country. And what we're saying is we don't want that to be clogging up our ERA systems. And as a result, at that level, you've got people who can develop their own employment contracts and their own arrangements around when employment contracts and arrangements aren't working, that they can sort that out themselves. There'll be a transition period, obviously. There's a chance for an employer and employee to build clauses into their employment agreement around how they will resolve any conflict or any termination. But again, what we know is that there's a lot of it's clogging up the system. We want to speed it up, and at that high end of high income, where there's opportunity to do employment contracts, involve lawyers, agree clauses with your employer directly. It's got to work in both the employer and for the employee, and we think that's best left to them.
How many in that pay bracket are?
About 3.5% of New Zealanders.
How many are clogging up the
Well, it's just the fact that we know if you're at $180,000 or more, you don't need to go to an employment tribunal to have that issue resolved. You can actually deal with that, directly with your employer and through other matters. And if you choose to resolve it that way, that's fine. Build that into the contract as such. Yeah.
So regarding the Nelson 10th decision, why has the government decided to appeal that?
We haven't. We've lodged a motion to give an optionality that we may appeal it, but it's not a formal appeal. But again, the Attorney General has communicated with Wakatu as well, and those are ongoing conversations. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, James.